welcome to episode 5 of Shane Talks. It's a $5 bin, y'all. If you've been listening, you've heard Jason Richardson mention multiple times on these podcasts the movies which he has bought in the infamous Walmart $5 bin. So we decided that Jason, Maier, and I were going to take a night and just talk to him about all these movies and see if Jason and I would have paid $5 for them. So there's a little bit different format this week. Jason Richardson's going to be basically in charge, telling us the movies, and then Jason, Maier, and I are going to be judging them and whether or not we would have spent the money on it too. So as always, I got Jason Maier with me and Jason Richardson, and I'm going to throw the ball over to Jason Richardson. Let's see your first $5 bin movie, buddy.
Well, first off, I have to say, I on a weekly basis try to raid the $5 bin at Walmart, just because it's kind of a fun little hobby thing now. So this is one of my favorites from the 80s. I'm sure Jason Maier will agree with this, but it would be Stallone Cobra.
I'd pay $5 for that.
Oh, I totally would pay $5 for that.
Yep.
It's so bad, it's good.
You're the disease.
And it's
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
crime is disease. I remember seeing this in theaters. I loved it. It's very short. It gets right to the point quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a fun chase them with Bridget Nielsen and some crazy ass weird looking people that actually do look scary.
I love his car in that movie too. That car is just so cool.
But I just remember going with my stepdad years ago, and we went to Glendale to check it out. And it was just a lot of fun, and just brings back a lot of memories. I think it was 1986 that this came out. So when I saw this for $5, I'm like, yeah. So.
Nice.
I want to see more movies do the 90-minute challenge, essentially. Sure. Like, can you get your movie right around 90 minutes and then just let me go with it? I don't know. Are the Purge movies in that category? Like, I don't know if they're that short or not.
I think they started off short, then they extended themselves a little bit longer.
That sounds right.
But like Commando's another example. That's one I got in the $5 bin. That movie gets right to the point. You're in and out quickly. Yep. And I just watched that the other day. So my next film here, classic from the 80s, and the one that really could put Tom Cruise on the map. So that would be Risky Business.
I'd pay $5 for that. I'm in.
I don't know, man. Like, and it's really weird. I don't know if I've watched that in its entirety since I was like 10 or 11. Totally.
But imagine when you were 10 or 11, you watched this though, man. This was like every person's like jerk off movie. Probably. This movie was kind of pushed the envelope sexually, and it was hot as a young kid, early teenager back in the day,
Oh yeah, Rebecca De Mornay is wow.
So this is good. So this is a win for me, in my opinion. So would you buy it or not?
Ooh, I think, yeah, I could probably spend $5 on that.
Yep, definitely $5 for me.
Okay. The next one here is a quadruple score.
All right,
$5 bin. Even though one of them's really bad, but I got the quadrilogy, or however you want to call it.
Right.
All 4 Batmans.
Oh, definitely, dude. Batman 1's $5 alone for me. The other 3 I'd be getting for free. So, yep, I'm in.
Yep.
I'm definitely on that.
The funny part for me with that is just thinking of the fact that that movie, quadrilogy, whatever you want to call it, like the fact that it was in a $5 bin, like that's kind of ridiculous, man.
I think sometimes they're overstocked. They just need to get rid of them. So
yeah, sure. It's $1.25.
That's $1.25 a movie.
That's the whole point of the $5 bin.
And I don't hate the third one. I don't hate it. I hate the fourth one, but I don't hate the third one.
Yeah, the $5 bin is definitely, it's so weird though, because nowadays with like how everything's gone digital, like I am way more picky because I don't want it to take up more space in my house.
Sure.
Nowadays.
Well, but the sad thing about the digital, this is the crazy thing. This is why I like the $5 bin as well. If you go and you look on, for the digital on iTunes or some of the other special digital websites and such, the digital copies are more expensive.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous,
and
they should be
anything.
cheaper than this, because they're not having to package it up, deliver it, etc. So that's why I score at the $5 bin, because they're cheaper than buying on the a lot of the digital sites and such. So
that is a fact.
So the next one is classic 80s again. You can see
I'm
totally tapping into the 80s here. So,
I love it.
And I know you're gonna love this one, Fast Times at Ridgemont.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And talk about
Yeah, I mean, written by Cameron Crowe.
Sexual kind of gets you excited as a young kid.
Oh yeah.
Shane, you have to tell your story about the autograph now that we brought this up.
I mean, I met Judge Reinhold at a Heartland Film Festival event, and I literally he showed up to, I don't remember what movie he was there for. He showed up at Castleton Arts. I was like, oh, it's Judge Reinhold. That's awesome. Holy cow. He went into his movie. I immediately ran over to Best Buy. I bought the VHS copy of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Came back. When the movie was over, he was coming out, and I was like, hey, how's it going again? Do you mind signing this? I ran home and grabbed my copy while you were in your movie. And he was like, oh, you are obviously a fan for sure. Totally signed it for me.
Yeah, but awesome. What did he, do you remember what he said to his woman or the lady that he brought with him?
I do not remember that.
When he did it, he like grabbed the package and he's sitting there looking at the VHS tape. And he's like, and then he like turns it over, and then he looks at the girl, and he's like, "Would you look at me?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like he's totally
making fun of himself when he was looking
while
at the
he was about to sign that piece. Like
that's awesome.
Even better with him signing it. He was such a nice guy when we met him.
Classic movie.
Yes, 100%.
Next $5 bin, still from the 80s, and probably in my all-time top 20. Favorite films. Original Porky's.
I would have to say yes.
I'm seeing a theme here, Jay-Bird. Certain things that would happen for a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah. I don't love Porky's, but I could spend $5 on it.
Dude, I spent like $13 on a Revenge of the Nerds bachelor party double pack. So I'm in for the Porky's $5 bin.
Porky's it's again like American Pie tapped into what Porky's was in the 80s.
100%.
And I remember my parents went to go see it. They wouldn't let me go see it. I really wanted to see it. And then finally, was at a friend's house one night, and we saw it once it hit like video. Nice. And because that was like a no for me back then. And I think Porky's was 80, 81, 82.
Somewhere around there, very early 80s.
So I'm going to be judgmental for just a small second. Your parents thought it was okay to take you to Halloween. Porky's was out of the question.
Well, they couldn't get a babysitter, so yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to get a babysitter.
Okay, our next feature, still again, yet in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those Blu-rays from the $5 bin that comes with 4 movies, a 4-pack or whatever, however you want to call it. And these are the you probably won't be able to see it well, but they're kind of like the teen sex romps from the 80s that includes Private Resort, Hard Bodies, Spring Break, and Perfect.
I've never heard of
I've never seen, so
I have no idea.
They're the TNA movies from the 80s, man.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, if that's how you're going to sell it to me for $5, you might be able to sell it to me that way. But
you know what? You can borrow this, Shane. You can save the $5 and just borrow these.
I appreciate that. That's
good
friendship.
Into the 80s TNA movies, man.
I'm in.
Dude,
classic.
I'm gonna say that if I were in the $5 bin and I saw that, I would probably pass. So,
it's all right. Those are just fun movies. The Spring Break type of 80s romp movies,
I'm interested.
That I totally remember from that period. So,
yep.
Next one here, we're tapping into horror.
Okay.
And I just found this one maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And I jumped up and down. Everybody in Walmart heard me when I found this one. This was a major score. And it's the original Phantasm.
Okay.
It's
I'm not a big
so
fan of the
bad
movie.
now watching it, but it was a great horror flick back in its day.
Yeah, I probably pass on it.
Yeah, I'm with Shane on this one. While it was cool, and I remember the ball being such an awesome looking thing, and think it was so cool, and I was little. There's nothing in it that makes me go, "Hey, I want to watch that again." So
yeah.
Okay. This one here I probably got a couple months ago as well in the $5 bin. Only it's DVD, and it's a trilogy, and it's the Naked Gun trilogy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that series.
I never owned it before, and so I was just like, all 3 movies for $5? Hell yes.
And the third one's not that good, but the first 2 alone would make it worth more.
You
than
have all
$5.
3 to complete it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm following.
I feel like they get progressively worse, but for $5, I couldn't turn that down either.
Okay. This one here, I did not find at Walmart. However, I did get it for $5.
All right.
And you can see it. I got it at Half Price Books, $4.99 Bachelor Party.
Yes. Yep.
Told you how much I spent for my copy. I'm not kidding you when I say that is probably a top 3 comedy for me of all time. Dude, Tom Hanks doing a grotesque rom-com is absolutely hilarious. It's funny from the beginning to the end.
Oh, it still is funny to this date.
Oh, absolutely. I still love watching that movie. And one of the things that Shane and I have always talked about that's driving us crazy about comedies for at least the last 10 years, if not 15, is they are hilarious. They're funny for the first hour, and then they decide, oh, we're gonna be all serious, and I hate you, and I don't want to be friends with you anymore, or we're not getting married anymore, for like a 20-minute segment. And then it's like, oh, but then everything's gonna turn out okay at the end. And it's like, dude, I don't need that. Yeah. Bachelor Party does do that, because Tawny Katane, she when she finds out about him near the end of the movie, she totally breaks up with them, and she's like, oh, I'm so disgusted, this is gross. But it's like 2 or 3 minutes before everything flips again, and all of a sudden and then it ends with that hilarious action sequence going to the mega movie multiplex thing that has the janitor one of the screens.
My favorite part still is who ordered the hot dog.
Yep.
I always crack up laughing when I think of the that's so good. Oh, is that the foot long? We call you Nick or Mister. No, but dude, the part where he's like, I think I found her. I'm in love. And then the dude goes over and pees in the toilet standing up. And then he's like, for sure. Dude, that movie is fantastic.
It holds up for almost 40 years old. That movie holds up. So,
dude, and if nobody listening to this has ever seen Bachelor Party, I'm telling you right now,
see the movie.
Do yourself the favor of finding somebody who has it if you don't want to pay $5 for it somewhere, and watch that movie. Especially like I said, seeing Tom Hanks being not Tom Hanks the way you think of him now. Nowadays you think of him as being clean and cut and wholesome, and he's doing Mr. Rogers movies and Walt Disney movies and
Forrest Gump.
Back then, man, that's a raunchy comedy.
Yes, it is. Very much. And you can see it's been consistent with my theme this evening. So
sure.
Yep. I just love that movie though. So
sex
good.
comedies are all $5.
Exactly. The next one here, again from the 80s, and this is definitely a cult classic, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you two would. but that would be Better Off Dead.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Total fun movie, and there are some really subtle, funny moments in this movie that just still hold up.
Well, and not only that, but there's so many like stars before their stars in that film. Like Jeremy Piven's in it, and and most of them are in John Cusack movies all throughout like John Cusack's career too. Yep. Like they just keep popping up. Better Off Dead is I will always remember it for Booger being in it.
Oh,
after being in Revenge of the Nerds. Yep. And I always remember it. The other reason I remember it is the stop animation to the Van Halen song.
Oh, yeah.
People at the fast food joint. So good. Love that movie.
Yep, that's a good one.
The next movie, again, 80s. And when I found this, I was beyond excited because I hadn't been able to find a copy of this in a while. It is a DVD, and it's probably one of my favorite comedies of all time. And it literally still holds up to this day. There are scenes where I am losing it and literally tearing up. And that goes to Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Never seen it.
Not a $5 movie for me. But I haven't watched it in a very long time.
When her dress gets caught in the paper shredder, that is the funniest comedic moment in a movie, and her reaction, and it really, I think, kind of highlighted or showcased Whoopi Goldberg's comedy in film, because she's just a natural at it. So if you get the chance, Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Okay.
It's just a fun chase 'em type comedy thriller type.
As far as I can remember, it's basically Beverly Hills Cop in like Detroit or something, but with a female instead. I can't remember like 100%. But that's what I remember. That's what I kind of remember about it, was that it was very similar to Beverly Hills Cop. And don't get me wrong, I haven't watched that, like I said, probably in over 20 years. So I can't say that like I wouldn't buy it if I ran into the $5 bin right now and saw it. But I'm not opposed to watching it again and seeing how much I enjoy it here as an adult. So
well, and I will say too, because a lot of people think, oh my gosh, Jason, you dislike everything. And I'm like, no, I don't like everything. But I think for me, movies hold they're just it's my way of escapism, and there are a lot of bad movies, there are a lot of great movies, there are a lot of okay movies, but there are a lot of okay movies and bad movies that I would own because they are like nostalgic to me. They remind me of the time, and like Jumpin' Jack Flash, well, it's not like Academy Award worthy. I went with my cousin, and I wasn't able to drive at the time, and we would go to Glendale and have dinner before, and we would go see the late night movie, and that was one of the movies we went to go see, and we went through this this period where we would do that often, and it was fun. We went and saw Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, it takes me back to that, and that's part of the reason too I grabbed some of the movies out of the $5. So
for a split second, while Jason stepped away, I will say that I 100% agree with you on there are movies that aren't great, but that they just hold a nostalgic place because of who I saw that movie with, or what age I was when I saw that movie, or like I saw it at a friend's house, or I 100% agree with you that that's a great thing about movies and cinema is that just mentioning a movie explodes your brain with the nostalgia of what you did, or like why that movie means so much to you. So exactly. I agree, there's a lot of bad movies that even have that effect on your brain.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't know where Jason is, but I'd say my next one here is a DVD, and I saw this on Christmas Eve years ago, and it would have been in the 80s. And again, not the greatest movie in the world, but I like all three comedians that are in it. Okay. But again, I went with my uncle and we would go to movies on Christmas Eve, and we saw this at Los Cherries Tree, and it was The Three Amigos.
Oh, yeah, that's a $5 movie for me. I mean,
that's being a slapstick, silly comedy, man. Like,
Sure.
And all three of them at that time were pretty much at the height of their powers, as far as like how funny they were and how how busy they were with their work at the time. I would definitely pay $5 to watch that. They're talking about rebooting that at some point too.
Yeah, that movie though is a movie I was about to say. I don't think that movie could be made now.
Oh no!
Oh sure.
There's too many jokes that would not find its audience now.
But Three Amigos would be a good one that they should. You know how they bring all these movies back and play them. You know, like at Flicks and like. Regal and stuff.
Yep.
That's a kind of turned into a little cult classic. The next one on the list, probably one of my favorite horror movies. I love Stephen King movies.
Okay.
And this one's just pure fun. And there's a lot of creepy moments in it too, and that goes to Silver Bullet.
I'd probably pass on that. One of my not my favorite Stephen King movie.
That movie was one of the horror movies that, like, it was probably in a round robin of like that and like 6 other horror movies that constantly played in my house. It's freaky.
That's the kid in the wheelchair, right?
Yeah, it's Corey Haim.
Yeah,
Corey Haim. And doesn't the preacher look like Mike Pence?
I don't remember.
Wow.
Yes.
I wouldn't go that far, but
no, if the preacher in the movie had white hair, it looked like Mike Pence.
Okay.
Look him up.
I'm taking your word.
But yeah, that movie is freaky. I remember thinking that the special effects were kind of hokey the last time I saw it. But again, it's made in the early 80s. It's a low budget horror film. I enjoyed it though. And I'd buy that for $5 definitely.
Google when this is done, Google Mike Pence and then the preacher from Silver Bullet.
Okay.
And they kind of sound alike too.
Come night.
I didn't know we were going political on this.
Well, I mean, I'm not being political. I'm being like, that's literally what I think.
I'm just messing. You're fine.
The next one here is a double feature, and the third one hopefully will come out this summer at the movies. It's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey.
1,000%. I'd pay $20 for it. I'm in. $20.
Shane would pay $20 for anything that had Bill and Ted on it whatsoever.
Give it to me.
Can I pay $5 just for the first one and just act like the second one doesn't exist so much?
Sometimes you may be curious to want to throw the second one in just to kind of see how bogus it was.
Oh, dude, it's pretty bad, but I really enjoy both of them. They're so good.
It's like the other night I threw in The Hangover 2 because I just wanted to, and it was actually better than what I had remembered it.
Dude, and you know what's weird is I'm hitting that spot with a whole lot of movies now, is where I'm watching something and I'm like, the dialogue's not nearly as bad. Maybe it's because I love the previous one so much, and then now I'm lesser.
Jason, it is 10:30 at night. Why are your kids up?
All right, next movie. Let's go.
That would be a good $5 rental right there.
You should see the look that my wife just gave you. That poor little dude swam his heart out today and took a nap earlier and slept a lot later than normal. So that's why
he should still be asleep.
So.
The next one is another 80s film comedy that will have a sequel later this year, and that is Coming to America.
Oh, yeah, definitely $5 for me. I enjoy it.
No question, $5. I question why bother with a sequel.
Okay, that makes your face make sense, but yes. What? No need for a sequel.
Oh, dude. To be loved! To be loved! Shut the bleep up! Oh, man.
All I have to say is so glow.
Just let your soul
Glow. All right, I've got a bunch of movies here. I'm gonna just run real quick through some.
Let's do it.
This one here, I know you guys would not fall for, but again, this is a nostalgic thing.
No,
it takes me back to when Chris Schneider and I went, hung out. We went to movies, went to Glendale, and I saw Good Burger.
No.
Nah, I can't do it either. I was too old for Good Burger.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order?
I was too old.
I interviewed these guys during their Good Burger period on the radio.
Really? On the radio? Nice.
They were really, really, because you talked to them beforehand and such.
Yeah.
They were really down to earth. They even called me the day before on my cell phone.
Oh, wow.
And I was at home, and to just kind of break the ice a little bit, And they were like, yeah, dude. Yeah. And I was just like, boy, they really talk like that.
I'll tell you what, though. I think both of those actors are funny people, though.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And if I watched Good Burger with somebody who really enjoyed it, maybe I would like the movie. But it was just kind of blah, what I've seen.
And again, it's not a great movie. But again, Chris and I went and watched it, and we were just like, what the... You know what I mean? And it was it makes it special for that. And I do this thing where, Chris, Jenny, and I get together every Christmas Eve. We do a gift exchange with each other. Well, I've incorporated as part of their gift as a gag gift, and I always get them something out the $5 bin.
Oh, nice.
So they have gotten Good Burger, and they got all 7 Leprechaun movies.
Shane, we should make an episode for Christmas where after we bring Jenny and Chris on with Jaybird so they can talk about the $5.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Right.
They've got stacks of movies, man. Stacks of them.
I'm in for this.
Next one is a quickie, Rush Hour 1 and 2. I just got that recently.
I pay $5 for I love the first one, so I pay $5 for the first one.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the first one's great. Second one's fine.
Yep.
$5, Grumpy Old Man 1 and 2.
Nah, not for me.
I wouldn't buy them. I might buy them for my dad, but I do enjoy those movies when they're on.
The first one is great. First one is really, really, really good. And I love Minnesota, so there's not that many movies that take place in Minnesota. So
is that Anne Margaret in that movie?
Yes.
Dude, she being as old as she was in those films, she is wow.
Yep.
Smoking hot.
Daryl Hannah's in that too. The next one here, I'm sure I'm alone on this one, but again, it has a little place in my heart during the time it came out and everything I was kind of going through and with my mom and stuff like that. And it is Who's That Girl, Madonna?
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Never seen it?
Nope.
It's silly, but it's just it is what it is. It is what it is. I
remember the music video, and I love the music video.
Oh yeah, these next ones I'm sure you'll like. I got the Aliens, Alien Resurrection, Alien 3. And then the second Aliens. So I got all 4 Aliens for $5.
They're all worth $5 for me. I like them all. Enough for $5.
Absolutely.
$5 each. Let's see. This one here, I'll say on the next. I've got 5 more here, and I'll say you'll like 4 of the 5.
All right.
So quick shout out to Uncle Buck.
Oh yep. $5 from me.
Never seen it.
Oh,
what?
Dude.
I know.
You should watch that.
Oh my gosh, you totally need to watch Uncle Buck. That's a great 80s comedy and one of John Candy's best, actually, too. From the 90s, City Slickers.
Yep, another movie that can't be made today because it's so good.
This is this City Slickers is out when I was just started college.
Okay.
And so I saw it right before I went to college in 91. So one of my favorites from the 90s, Clueless.
Yep. You have my $5. Love it. Paul Rudd hasn't aged a day since that movie.
Alicia Silverstone too. And Stacey Dash, for crying out loud, looks the same.
She's beautiful. She's crazy, but she's beautiful.
Yes, she is.
I I will say Clueless. It's funny. You make me laugh because you pull that up, and I know Shane loves that movie.
I did.
Like,
I did.
It did.
I did.
Whatever.
I like Maier in it a lot. He's cool.
There
But yeah, I think it's fine now. I might pay $5 for it, but like, yeah, it's a little. It hits some really slow points in that movie.
Okay, fine. I love Clueless, man. All right, I love it.
It was such. Clueless was like was the it thing of its day. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I think it was it 95 maybe
95,
that came
yeah.
out. It was the summer. It was pretty big, and it was like this kind of the it thing. It was kind of like the early Mean Girls, you know.
Well, not only that, but dude, like they're smoking marijuana in that movie, and they're drinking in that movie, and it's PG-13. How the heck they got away with that? Like nowadays, they definitely could not get away with what they have in that movie.
Oh, I agree.
PG-13.
The fourth one here you probably would be Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
100%. Yep.
One of the best 80s movies of all time.
Agreed.
This one here, I know I'm alone on this one, but I really did enjoy, because I kind of was freaked out watching it at the time, would be Sleeping with the Enemy.
Yeah, it's not $5 for me. Yeah.
It's a good movie though. Like overall,
it's
like I mean, it's not something I'd be like, oh, I need to own that.
Yeah.
Well, see, I have a big thing for Julia Roberts, so, and that was right off Pretty Woman, so I liked it.
Right on.
This one I got probably maybe, I don't know, within a year or so, or no, a year and a half ago, maybe. It was during one of those Christmas Black Friday special things, but I got the Gone with the Wind. I never owned it, and I thought, you know, I've seen bits and pieces over my life, but I'm like, one of these days I'm just gonna sit down and watch this damn movie. But now I got a copy of it, and I'll have to sit through commercials and stuff, you know.
This is why they won't get my $5, because I will never sit through that movie ever again in my entire life.
My only question is, you bought it a year and a half ago thinking, I'll watch this at some point, and it's still shrink wrapped.
Oh, you wouldn't believe how much of my stuff is shrink wrapped. My whole thing is that I'll go through my library and I'll just kind of take my finger along and I will pick something. And I mean, like yesterday, I just watched The Hangover 2. I opened it up. Hangover 2 came out in 2011. I just opened up my Blu-ray yesterday on that.
Okay, but
and most of my movies are like that, but it's there for when I want it.
Okay, I got you. Do you two find that I find when I'm trying to, or I'm thinking I can watch a movie, I've got 2 hours, I find myself watching things that I've already watched more so than finding something new.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know if that's because out of like the sheer laziness of like, I don't want to have to pay real attention to the TV right now.
Right.
So I can like mess with my phone while I'm kind of watching this movie, or do something else while I'm kind of watching this movie. Or if I just, you know what I mean? Like, I know that I'm not going to want to pay attention for the full 2 hours, which is really weird because when I work in the movie theater, I'll literally watch anything every week. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I will watch something every week. But yeah,
I think too is part of it is to you know, like again, and this may come back up again tonight again, like watching The Hangover 2 last night. I had no idea how it was going to end. I forgot parts of the movie. Like, I had no idea where it was going as far as what was going to happen next, because it, you know, I just didn't remember the movie. So when I was watching it, I actually liked watching it last night versus when I actually first saw it.
I can see that.
I only bought it because I wanted to have the trilogy so that I could come back to it someday to watch it again.
Well, and the same thing here. Like, I just watched Dogma this week for the first time since the theater. I've owned the DVD since the DVD came out, but I never popped it in. And so then I just rewatched it. I just watched it last night.
So what were your feelings rewatching Dogma? I'm very curious about this now.
Dogma is a it's very much a Kevin Smith movie.
Uh-huh.
There's some things that make absolute no sense to me whatsoever.
Sure.
From a writing standpoint, more so than anything else. But overall, like, it's a solid comedy. It's really like, I really like the evolution of the Renegade Angels.
Okay.
The evolution of their characters during the film, I think, is really cool. But yeah, like, yeah, overall, I like, I'm trying to think, in the View Askew universe, I used to think it was at the bottom. It's probably in the middle for me.
Do you feel like it was a waste of your time to rewatch it?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. But I'm a Kevin Smith fan, so like, I really enjoy watching his films for the most part. So
good to hear. All right, Jay,
next movie here, I think will hold a special place in Jason Maier's heart. But again, from the $5 bin, and lots of good memories watching this movie, going to see this movie. In fact, I went to see it twice in Chicago during the summer. I think it was 1987 or 88, one of those two. But it would be Red Heat.
That's a no for my $5.
So my brother David constantly says that if you want a rating from him, your movie must have three things. One is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Doesn't matter if it's a cameo or if he's a star. Two, it must have explosions of some sort. And obviously there's explosions in Red Heat because you can see it from the box art. And then three, it must show boobs at some point.
I knew it.
That's you get an A+ out of Dave Maier. So I haven't watched Red Heat probably since like 85, 86. When did that movie come out? When did that come out?
There.
It was like 87 or so, 87, 88.
Oh, geez. Okay, so then I definitely haven't. I've seen it like once or twice on video. So it might have been the early 90s, the last time I watched it. I might pay $5 for that if I was really like in the mood to watch an old Arnold movie. So,
as much as you like the Arnold movies, and you said you as a kid would go see the Arnold movies, hell yeah, that's a score, man.
Oh, dude,
that was like one of the good Arnold movies, you know.
I see, but I don't remember it being good. Like, I remember him having a really bad accent.
Wait a second. All of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies are shitty, but they're fun. No. They're funny and good.
You've seen Predator, right?
No. Well, okay. Predator.
You've seen Terminator, right?
Predator is A. Predator would be an A. Like Commando would be a B. Commando, the dialogue is so bad, but the movie is fun. And it's got great action, and it's brief, gets right to the point, and they're done. But the movie is like cheese on a damn cracker, man. I mean,
dude, I'd probably give it a score of a C, because like, even though I love the movie, it's a really bad movie overall.
It is, but it's fun though.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying, like,
popcorn, shoot 'em up. Boom. Yeah, but like fun.
I really don't like The Sixth Day. I really don't like Collateral Damage. Like, he hit a lot of duds in the late 90s.
All that, no.
But like
80s Arnold movie, any 80s Arnold movie, you find in a $5 bin, you grab that damn thing. So
yeah, probably.
Our next feature is Red Dawn.
Love
the original?
Love
Definitely. Yep.
Patrick Swayze is so awesome. Like, and to think of everybody that's in that movie too: Jennifer Grey, Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, like
Leah Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, freaking out! Who's the fighter pilot who gets shot down? What's his name? Oh, he was in everything. Powers Booth. That's who it is.
Powers Booth. Yeah.
Everybody's in that film, man. I love that movie. That's one of those ones that my brothers, when we lived in Germany and that came out, they used to watch that all the time. And it was almost like a what would we do kind of situation if we were here in Germany and especially during the Cold War. Like, if that movie
that movie came out in 1984. I was in Chicago, and it was so controversial. and it had the PG-13 rating. And it was, I just remember it being controversial. I don't know, but anyways, so the next movie, I don't know, visually, I just love watching it. Is it a great movie? It's a fine movie, but I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan. And it's Waterworld.
Nope. You could pay me $100, I won't watch it again. Nope.
Oh, that's a little harsh.
Nope. I hate that movie. I
thought Waterworld was just kind of
stupid. No. Nothing. No, it's dumb.
I had never seen anything like it before.
And yeah, there's a reason for that.
Well, and there's another reason why you buy it in the $5 bin is because Kevin Costner is probably one of my favorite actors, and I just like his movies. I like his movies so much that we have Dances with Wolves.
Oh my God, no.
$5 bin.
No.
Never seen it.
No, don't waste your time.
Shane,
watch the trailer and you've seen the movie.
How can you not watch Dances with Wolves?
Lame. I had no fun during that movie. It was boring.
That's a great movie.
No.
It was an Oscar-winning movie too.
It was an Oscar-winning movie, but me and the Academy don't get along.
We'll continue with Kevin Costner, 3 Days to Kill. $5.
Horrible movie.
Yeah, I don't hate it as much as the other two. Who was the blonde chick that was in that? Maggie Grace?
Amber Heard and Haley Steinfeld.
That's right.
That movie makes no sense whatsoever.
It doesn't. Not at all. No.
Came out right at the same time.
You know why it makes sense?
Came out the same time that it was like Nonstop or Taken 3. It was a Liam Neeson movie that came out right around the same time.
You know why it makes sense?
Because it's a $5 movie.
Kevin Costner. I love Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner sent me an autograph picture from a Dances with Wolves scene for my high school graduation. So,
well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's in my office.
That's awesome. He's obviously a much nicer guy than he is about choosing smart movies to do.
Yes. The next one here.
You got him to agree to that while he wasn't paying attention.
The next one here is a no-brainer, and it's Spaceballs.
Yeah, $5, easy.
I just got that not too long ago. Untouchables would be another one.
I like it. It's $5.
Dude, that movie is so... I think it was David Mamet who wrote that and directed it.
No, it was Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
Brian De Palma might have directed it, but I don't think he wrote it. I think it was a David Mamet script.
Untouchables. You are 100% correct.
Dude, his writing in that movie is top notch. Like, I love the dialogue and how it, and obviously it's Brian De Palma's directing as well.
Sure.
But the dialogue in that movie is very classic dialogue for me.
That's one I need to go back and watch again. I haven't seen it in a while, and but it is unwrapped, so I have watched it at some point since I've purchased it.
It kind of plays like a TV movie almost nowadays for the most part, but but it's easily
Chicago way.
Knowing that Mamet wrote it, because I did not know that until now, I think I like it more than I previously did, because I love his writing.
Yeah, his writing is awesome. When I like his writing, it's really good.
And see, I love Kevin Costner, so if he's in a shitty movie with horrible writing and a bad script or story, I love it because I love Kevin Costner. So.
Well, that's cool. David Mamet doesn't write bad stuff, so...
The next one here, total cult classic. Love it, love it, love it. The original Grease.
I already own it, so I'm not paying $5 again for it. That movie is a timeless classic for me. Grew up watching it constantly. It was something that just played in my house a lot.
That movie actually should be rated R.
Oh, hell yes.
There's especially a lot of sexual innuendo.
I don't know how that movie is PG, man.
Dude, well, so is Jaws, which makes no sense back in the day either. But with Grease, it's something that like I won't show it to my kids yet, but I was probably 7, 8, 9 years old when I started watching that on my own and really enjoying it. But like, dude, that movie is timeless classic. Olivia Newton-John. There's a reason why I have a thing for blondes. So
I was 5, and I thought that for some reason I would really grasp onto musicals going forward, and I'm not a big musical guy at all. But I mean, there are a lot of musical movies that I like. If I break it down and start counting back and whatnot, in general, I do not like musical movies, but I do like enough musical movies to not be like a prick.
Okay.
So, did you like The Greatest Showman?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I like if you look at musicals, Greatest Showman was great. I love like Victor Victoria, but like I liked a lot of Disney musicals back in the day too. Mary Poppins,
Sound of Music,
Dragon. But I didn't get into like The Rent or whatever else they convert. I loved Chicago. I loved Chicago. It's amazing because there's like a lot of like you love musicals and you can like a lot more musicals than I do. But it's amazing for me not being a guy who does not really like a lot of musical. When I do like one, what makes me like it or what draws me to it, I'm still trying to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Well, and you had superstar power at the time with Chicago, man. Like, and Catherine Zeta-Jones actually showing off her dancing skills was fantastic. Like, she was a bona fide superstar at the point in time they made that. Along with
something just drew you in till you just liked it, you know what I mean? And I didn't care. I could care less about Chicago before that, the play, the Broadway show, or anything. But watching the movie, I'm like, oh. So now when I hear other people sing those songs, or like maybe the original cast that sang those songs when someone's just playing the soundtrack or something like that, I'm like, okay, you can sing to it because you know it.
Yeah.
So, but it only took that movie to draw me into the Chicago. So. Some quick pointer-outers here. Gremlins, classic 80s.
Yep.
80s again. The $5 bin is totally 80s, man. The Outsiders.
100% yes.
This would be 90s. Tommy Boy.
Yeah, I like the movie. I'd probably pay $5 for it.
Tommy Boy is a cult classic, man.
Oh, dude! Like, growing up, the friends that I had that are Shane and I's age that I used to watch movies with all the time, like that was definitely one of the ones that kept getting played over and over again, along with like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. Like everything from the SNL crew around that time.
Yep.
Most of it was a lot of fun. So
this is one I need to throw in because it's 29 years old now.
All right.
But it's Wayne's World.
Yep, 100%
Love
yes.
that movie.
That's in the same genre we just talked about.
Yeah, and like that's something that's I laugh, like you were telling me you laugh at Jumpin' Jack Flash. That's what I laugh at Wayne's World. Like I'm stupid laughing at it. It especially if I wait a long time in between viewings, dude. I'm rolling and like. Oh yeah,
that's one I need to put back in and watch again because it's been a while since I've seen that. I don't think I own the second one, but I will look for it in the $5 bin so I can have the collection. The next one here, this is just a fun movie that I really liked, and I liked the idea, the story behind. Seeking, generally people are seeking out for a relationship with, to find a spouse of some type. Well, this guy was seeking out to find his a friend, and I love you, man. And I just think this was a good, fun movie.
It was okay.
I probably don't pay $5. I own it, and that's because somebody gave it to me free. Thank you, Justin Rochelle. Thank you, Blockbuster Video. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have bought that movie for $5. I do like Paul Rudd. Jason Segel's really funny in it, and it's got the best band of all time in it, Rush.
Sure.
There's a lot of check marks that would be checked for me, but I don't know if I'd actually purchase it. That's really weird.
I did for $5. This one here, this next
maybe
couple,
for $2.
I got in this period where back in 2016 where I just took the risk and I would buy it because I've heard so many good things about it. And I'm talking about movies from way back in the day and whatnot that weren't in my time period and such, but were big movies. And so I thought $5, I mean, you go to the movies and pay $5 and, whatever. And that is, so when I would find something, I would just grab it. It's kind of like Gone with the Wind. I just grabbed it for $5. But this one here would be The Great Escape.
Never seen it.
And if you've not seen this movie, this is an excellent movie. And it's just about Americans escaping from, some type of
POW camps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just well done, and it's a solid movie, and I highly recommend watching this movie. Okay. Do it when no one's can interrupt you. You just got a lazy day, and you can just sit there for 2.5 hours and just jump into this story here. It's really, really solid. Steve McQueen is just a badass.
Well, and on top of that, another movie I've never watched, and every time I thought about watching it, I was like, I don't know if I want to sit through that much time, is A Bridge Over the River Kwai. Like,
okay. One. Yeah, that is so funny that you mentioned that, because I got this one at the $5 bin, but I was also going to the Carmel Library and renting movies. And I went through this period where I was renting movies where, I've heard of them and they were be it before my time. And yeah. I watched Bridge Over River Kwai, and I had a tougher time getting through that, but I watched it and it was still good. It's long, but it's good. If you got the time to do it, I recommend it.
Lawrence of Arabia is the other one that I've never watched because it's so...
That is hard to get through.
And Gone with the Wind. I've not seen any of those three.
The next one here is kind of still on that same kind of theme. 3 Days of Condor, Robert Redford, Faye Dunaway, really, really, really good movie. But this is part of a double feature. And this was a double score for me because I had rented 3 Days of Condor from the library, and it was great. Took the movie back, and then weeks later or whatever, I find in the $5 bin a double feature of 3 Days of Condor and probably one of my all-time favorite movies, All the President's Men. And so both for $5 was a total win. And have you seen All the President's Men?
I have seen All the President's Men, and I like that one. I don't know if I'd pay $5 for that. I have not seen the other one.
It's a double feature.
Sure.
So you get both for $5. So
no, but I haven't seen the other one.
It's like I keep buying Jennifer Lopez packets, and they keep throwing Made in Manhattan in all of them. But I figure if I'm getting 2 or 3 other movies and I'm getting them all for $5, well, I've got 3 Made Manhattans. You know what I mean?
Was Honey ever in the $5 bin?
No, I don't have Honey.
Honey? Jessica Alba's Honey?
Yeah, like, has that ever been in the $5 bin?
I'm sure it has
you would
been.
pay $5 for that. I'd pay $5 for that.
Jason, All the President's Men is just a fantastic political news drama thriller. I mean, it's just, it'll have you on the edge. The writing is great. The acting is great. It's very old school. It's just a fantastic movie. I probably watch that once a year at least. So other quickies here that I've got, Point Break.
Definitely $5.
Dude, one of the best. It's at least top 10, if not top 5 action films.
Agreed.
Cape Fear.
I like it. I'd pay $5.
Great.
It's creepy, great man. That movie's creepy.
It's very super creepy. I think I don't know. Like, the fact that that's a remake is kind of weird to me.
That's yeah.
But it was fantastic though. this movie just really, really. I don't even know if I'll watch it again, but I got it because I got it. I'll watch it someday.
Sure.
It's part of the Jerry Bruckheimer, whatever series or whatever you want to call it.
Days of Thunder.
No, I do
The
have
Rock.
that one. The Rock, yes.
100%.
And the reason why
100%.
I got this movie is because it just reminds me of Clearwater.
Oh, that's a great thing, but it's also fun. It's a great movie.
It totally just. This was out in it was the summer.
Summer
I don't know what
96.
summer. Yeah, I knew it was summer, and it did well, and it was just big at Clearwater, and I just remember seeing it, and it reminded me of Clearwater. What?
Yeah,
I think it was May
I
of
think it was May.
'96.
Yeah, I know it played
Either
in the
that or it
summer.
was early June.
It was June that came out, I think.
Okay, because it was right after we had right after our school year ended that year.
So the next one here is total cult classic. I love this movie. It's Caddyshack.
Okay. Yeah.
Jason Maier.
Never seen it.
What?
It's fun. It's
Oh
worth
my
$5.
Caddyshack is kind of on the it's kind of on that bachelor party
Ridiculous level.
I'm not kidding you.
You know, it's only bachelor party. I think is a little raunchier.
Sure.
But Caddyshack is
Bizarre.
just yeah.
I pulled out a pen and I am writing down the movies that are interesting enough to me that I want to research going in and watching. Just because sometimes, and Caddyshack is one of those ones that I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I don't know what the story is. I remember Bill Murray trying to kill the
gopher.
The gopher.
Yep.
And I remember at one point he cleans the pool, right? Isn't that him?
Mm-hmm.
He does that. And it's a payday. And it's a payday or whatever.
Clark Bar or something.
Yeah.
So it's one of those movies where I know I've seen bits and pieces. I don't think I've ever watched the whole thing. And I remember the no. And I don't know if that's Caddyshack 1 or 2, but
it's one.
But yeah, I've never watched it all the way through, so that's definitely something I want to add to my list.
Denzel Washington's Man on Fire.
Dude, you know what? That movie is literally that is a Punisher movie written by somebody who's not in the Marvel universe. That's literally dude, that movie is, and it's hard hitting. It's very graphic and violent. That's Tony Scott directing that. I remember watching it and thinking, man, I just watched something cool. Not necessarily everybody should see this movie. I don't feel like it's on John Wick level, but I thought I definitely could pay $5 for that and not even blink.
Goonies.
Oh,
100%.
dude,
Yep.
that's not even a question.
Goodfellas.
Yep.
The first Mission Impossible.
Oh, 100%. The best Mission Impossible.
Yep.
The only actual Mission Impossible movie that actually felt like the TV show before they became action films.
Yeah.
I still think that the further they progress with those movies, they're just quality freaking movies.
They're good. They're good.
They're fun action movies, but the entire plot of the TV series was a group of guys that go undercover and don't get noticed at their job, which the first one does. But literally, after John Woo stamped on the second movie, it's how much crap can we blow up? How big of an explosion can we have? How many fights can we have? We're gonna blow up the Kremlin.
Dude, Jay Bird and I were with, was it Kevin Kehoe and Dion for the trade screening of that. It was a trade screening instead of a 10 a.m. trade screening. It was a 6 p.m. or a 7 p.m. trade screening. We had to get Jaybird, I think it was you, had to call in a favor with Paramount to get us on the list. Because it wasn't open to just anybody it normally was. We had to he had to ask somebody to let us go to see that, and the four of us went and saw it, and all that kept going through my head was, this is not this is an action movie, but this is nothing nothing like the first one.
Yep.
I liked MI2 a lot though. For its own for a sequel, I thought it was pretty good.
No.
Quickies, because I've never seen it before, but I want to again. It's old school. Sound of Music.
I would.
It's been a long time since I've watched it. I would pay $5.
Highlander.
I would pay $5 for that.
Poltergeist 2 and 3, which are horribly bad but fun.
Nah.
I've never seen 2 or 3.
They are so bad they're good.
I enjoy the first one a lot.
Oh yeah. And the first one I own on DVD, but I want to get Blu-ray of it, but I've just not come across it. Office Space.
Yep.
Horrible Bosses.
You know what? Weird movie. Like the second one better than I like the first one.
I think that's one of the very few movies I can say that about too.
Were you like part 2 better than the first one?
I like the second one better than the first one.
Chris Pine makes that second movie so good.
Yep.
I'll have to watch the second one again. I've kind of dump truck theory. I forgot.
The first one's fine.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it's just there. But the second one, like I was gut laughing at the second one.
For me, I think the Jennifer Aniston was good, and she was so believable, and I think that was kind of her crossing a line that she hadn't before. And to me, she really kind of made that movie.
Absolutely.
Let's see, A Few Good Men.
Perfect movie.
The Doors.
Never seen it.
Hunt for Red October.
Best movie with
Jack Ryan.
Yeah, best Jack Ryan movie ever.
Best Jack Ryan movie, yes. My Cousin Vinny's good.
Dude, so good. Marissa Tomei actually deserved the Oscar for that.
Oh yeah. Breakfast Club.
Yep.
Dude, like that movie. That's one of those movies that I lump together with like some of the other John Hughes movies with like Ferris Bueller. Like those two are like quintessential. This is the 80s.
The Brat Pack movies.
Yep.
Yeah, but not all of them for me. Like that. Those two especially are like top notch. Way better than all the others.
But like your 16 Candles, St. Elmo's Fire,
Yes.
That's all part of that Brat Pack.
But again, all those other ones that you just mentioned, I don't care for them nearly as much as I enjoy Ferris Bueller and Breakfast Club.
So, and again, it's probably because, for me, I'm old. How old are you? How much older am I than you?
You're 10 or 6 years older than us.
Okay, so for me,
7 years.
1984 through 87 was like the John Hughes Rat Pack kind of, and people of that time period just kind of really grasped that and just embraced it and such. So Rudy,
okay movie, don't want to own it.
Shane,
it's a good movie, I just don't want to own it.
You got it. Don't you like movie with a little heart in it?
I do, and it's fine. It's a good movie. I just don't want to own it.
Look at that. The Talented Mr. Ripley.
I don't want to own it.
I don't want to own it.
But
yeah, it's fine.
Beetlejuice.
I paid $5 for that.
That movie is so messed up.
It's ridiculous.
Probably one of my favorite romantic comedies, and I just think it is fucking awesome movie. It's kind of on that level of Notting Hill for me, and that would be Bridget Jones's Diary.
Negative.
Never watched it.
This movie, I kid you not, this is a solid movie. And most people probably call it a chick flick, but there are so many freaking funny moments in this movie that, I mean, I don't even know who wrote this. I mean, it is an excellent movie. It's really, really fun. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend you put that on your list there, Jason.
Okay.
Put one. You gonna write that down?
No.
No, I'm not being like over the top or anything like that. I really think you legitimately would like it.
I'm pulling out.
Watch it with Lethal one night.
I pulled it out. I'm doing it.
Bridget Jones's Diary.
I got it.
Okay. Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yes.
You know that movie is so bad, but it is so good.
It's so fun.
I remember seeing that when we played it at Clearwater, and what was so funny about it was like I wasn't expecting it to be fun.
Oh no.
And it was totally like great action, a lot of fun.
It's way over the top. Way over the top.
Yeah, but it's one of those where you don't have any expectation. You have low expectation on the thing, actually. And then you go in and you watch it. And one of the movies I had the lowest expectation on, I went in and watched it, and it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's Shawshank Redemption. Okay. I went into that movie like, what is this jail movie?
All right, Jaybird, I'm gonna stop you here real quick. I'm gonna let you know, as of right now, you have gotten $250 from me if my math is right.
Oh my God!
You have now sold me on 50 of these movies that I would pay $5 for. So as we're about to wrap it up, I want you to look and pick the last 5 that you want to try to sell us on out of your collection.
Well,
okay. While you're doing that,
couple more. Okay, so I've got
so
Disclosure.
Wait, just a second, Jaybird. So Shane.
Yeah.
Here comes the challenge.
Okay.
Are you spending that $250 sometime this week?
No.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I didn't write down all the movies he sold me on. I just kept track every time I said yes. And he has now convinced me that I would have spent $250 had I been in his position.
Next on the list, double feature Disclosure, Fatal Attraction.
Nope.
Maybe. Depends on what mood I'm in.
I will say the point in time where she Demi Moore seduces Michael Douglas in what's the movie again? Disclosure. Wow.
For sure.
That like they don't even show much, but
they don't. It's all silhouetted.
That's like
it's believable.
I was totally excited when I watched that.
Sure, and it's based on a Michael Crichton book as well.
Yes.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but of those 2 movies, I would probably buy it for Fatal Attraction instead, because I just did not enjoy Disclosure as a movie. But Fatal Attraction was insane.
I don't want to get too involved in this one because we've talked about it before.
Yep.
But I bought it in the $5 bin. American Beauty.
Yep, done.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Good movie.
It's fine.
I won't expect you to watch this one, but I want you to watch the first one, Jason. Bridget Jones's Baby.
Isn't that the third one?
Yes.
Okay.
Blues Brothers original.
Great movie.
Absolutely.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Amazing movie.
That movie is so great.
So good.
One of the best thrillers of all time. Play Misty for Me.
Never seen it.
What is that about?
It's basically why Fatal Attraction came out. It's kind of a play on Fatal Attraction. I mean, no, Fatal Attraction is a play on Play Misty for Me. So Play Misty for Me is with Clint Eastwood, and he is a radio DJ, and he meets this woman in a bar, and she basically is like the Glenn Close. So Fatal Attraction is a ripoff of this.
Interesting.
It's an updated version of this movie.
I will write that movie down to look into.
Yeah, you can even, if you want to borrow it from me, you can, Shane. Play Misty for Me. It's an excellent movie.
All right.
Clint Eastwood directed, and it's creepy as shit.
All right.
League of Their Own.
Yes.
Home Alone.
That's what.
100% yes.
7.
Yes, 100% yes.
We got through all the movies, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, dude, that was a great.
And you know what? There are more $5 movies, but
oh man.
Here's the funny thing. I will say, so I actually, when I moved some time ago, I condensed things and I threw I wanted to get rid of a bunch of boxes and stuff. But I have 2 of these things here, which I think hold maybe 2, 3, or 100 movies. So all these are filled with $5 bin movies too.
Gems.
So I have 2 of these sitting right here, and they're all filled right here.
Oh my god! So real quick before we wrap this up, what would you say your DVD/Blu-ray disc collection is at number wise? Over 1,000.
You know,
sure.
I would actually have to count them, but I would guess I'm probably somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000.
Nice. That is a respectable collection.
Jay Bird, now that we've talked about your $5 bin throughout this whole episode, my question for you is, can you give me a movie that was in the $5 bin that you were just like, hell no. $5 is way too much for this piece of crap. Can you remember picking out any movie out of a $5 bin and going, that's ridiculous. Nobody should ever pay this?
It was Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
Oh, that's a recent movie to already be in the $5 bin.
Yeah, Tom Cruise's The Mummy is now in the $5 bin, and I actually had it in my cart.
Ooh.
And before I checked out, I actually pulled it out, and I'm like, no, I was going to buy it because I think watching the movie, visually it's great. There's some really good visual moments in the movie, and I love the airplane crash scene. I was buying that specifically because I love that action sequence. But I was just like, no. And so if it comes down to it, you know, if my heart's not, you know, pitter pattering, I won't buy it.
Okay, but you picked that up and then had second thoughts about it. I'm asking if there's ever been a movie that you picked up out of the $5 bin and you were like, hell no. Like, you didn't even think about purchasing.
Oh, plenty.
Like, no. But I want to know if there was like a specific movie, if you can remember any specific movie that made you go, oh, hell no.
That cartoon Rio.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, that's always in there. Rio 2. And, I mean, a lot of the animated stuff, you know, Madagascar and all that. No. And there's a lot of what's the action star guys? There's a lot of like
Scorpion King 3 and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just like that
Randy
weird
Couture.
stuff like that. And like, you know, what's his name? Steven Seagal stuff and Nick Cage, you know, stuff. And I'm just like, no.
Okay.
All right. Well, I just want to say
I do have willpower, so.
I want to say thank you very much, Jaybird, for pulling out all those from your collection and going through them with us tonight. I had a lot of fun. I honestly didn't make fun of his movies as many movies as I thought I was going to. There's actually a pretty good selection you got for $5. Jason Maier, as always, it's a pleasure having you on here. I enjoy talking movies with you. Sadly, we don't do it as often as we used to. If you are listening at home or watching the video, I appreciate you guys stopping by for another episode. We always have fun talking movies, and the audio-only announcement should be coming sometime in the next couple of days. We're technically on a couple of audio-only sites. I'm just waiting for the big one to approve me, and then I'm going to make the announcement. So, thank you for watching this video, and we will be back. I haven't decided what episode 6 is going to be yet, so I have no teaser for that. So, stay tuned.